Hi, Greg, the brickitect here. Today we're going to take a look at the 7th build from the Lego Build-A-Book, More Amazing Vehicles. This is the forklift. In terms of its complexity, it is a 3 out of 3. Functions, 1 out of 3, which is something I'm definitely going to be talking about. And for pieces, it got a 2 out of 3. It says for the design notes it has a short wheelbase, open cabin, big mirrors, and spotlights. And then it features a tilting mast, folding fork, and a pallet, which you can see here. This piece doesn't actually attach to it, but it's just a pallet that you can go along with it. So let's take a look at this forklift and I'll tell you what I think about it. Now I have to tell you, each week I look ahead to see what the next build is, and last week when I saw that the forklift was coming up, I was stoked. This is one of the reasons that I bought Volume 2 of the Amazing Vehicles book as opposed to Volume 1. And I thought this build was going to be completely awesome, and it was. I was going through, I was like, this is going to be great. The forklift was going along really well until I got to the last few steps, and I actually put together the fork of this, and that is where the problem really began, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So you think this being a forklift, the forks would actually work, but unfortunately that's not the case. Like ideally this piece should rise up and down. You can see how it's kind of meant to do that, but unfortunately it doesn't. The only thing that it does is you can move it up like this, and this kind of tilts back a little bit, but that's really pointless when you're trying to pick up pallets. Like ideally you'd have the pallet, then you might have something on that and you have to lift it up, and then you would drive it to a new place. But this forklift is absolutely pointless because you can't lift anything with it. In fact, this pallet's on the ground, I can't even bring it down low enough to pick it up, but once you do get it on, there's really nowhere to go with the pallet. So that was such a bummer, and that was like the final step. So I was building this thing along and I was like, man, this is great, and then I got to that and I was like, okay, why is this like this? This is such a bad fork. And I know they probably didn't have the pieces to actually make this slide up and down, but that would have been really nice, and now I just broke it off. But it's worthless anyway, so let's just get rid of it. Alright, now that I got that out of my system, I will say this forklift is really awesome looking. I'm sure you agree. There's so much about this. The shapes of it are so perfect. These fenders that go down here and up the other side I think look great. I like the orange turn signals on the side. It's got the lights. It of course has the spotlights like they referenced. This kind of moves around a little bit. You can move that forward and kind of tilt this just to keep it kind of level, and it kind of makes a nice angle there. I like what they did with the windshield, and then the steering wheel inside looks pretty good, along with, I guess that's supposed to be the shifter. There's nothing else really on this to note. Here's the back end of it, which I think looks pretty good. I like how rounded this is. With Lego, it's not easy to make a lot of rounded stuff. But fortunately, this set that this is based on, that 5867, it really had a lot of these curved pieces, and they used it well when they built this. And I like the way the wheels look. I think everything kind of works really well in giving it the right dimension and the right scale. There, I decided to take the roof off so you can get a better look at the interior. There's the steering wheel, pretty standard there. It's got a little gauge or something on this side. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a shifter, but I can't really say for sure. Who knows what that's supposed to be. And then it's got the blue seat, which is found on all these sets, of course. But I think they did a really good job the way that's all set up. And then what I also really like, which was on the roof that I took off, I like these mirrors. These are supposed to be like side view mirrors, and when it's on the top you can see how that works. You kind of put that back on there. I think that looks pretty good, and everything about this really works well. I like these step-ups on the side here, and then these pieces I think look really nice. And overall, just a really nice build, very solid. Nothing's really fallen off this. I like the bumper on the back. There's so much to like about this. It's just a shame that this turned out to be such a piece of garbage. That is really unfortunate. I think I might have been a little too critical on this forklift. I really do love the forklift itself, but the whole lift thing really bothered me. Had that worked, had they had some type of function that would have made that go up and down, and I could have actually moved stuff with this, this would have been my favorite build from this entire book, I'm sure of it. But the way it stands, it basically is just a nice display piece. I think it looks good just to sit around. You just can't really play with it too much. I do like they threw this extra little pallet in, but for the functions, it definitely deserved its 1 out of 3, if not 0 out of 3, because there just wasn't a whole lot to do here, but it definitely looks nice sitting there. So thank you for watching this week's build from the Lego Build-It book, More Amazing Vehicles. We'll be back again next week with the 8th build, which is the big rig, and I think that's actually going to be one that isn't going to let me down at all. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.